Welcome back everybody to Advance Wars 2 Black Hole Rising. It's Daniel from Dan Has Fun, and we're going to be doing the lab mission today. It's the Stronghold mission, you fool. At last, the enemy Stronghold. Can we win back our country? And you'll notice CO Select. You actually get to pick for the first time which CO you want to use. We'll talk about that more in a moment. So they've come at last. Black thinks he's going to win it all with his factory. And then a person who we don't know yet, if we're just going as if you're a new person who's never played this game before, mentioning that Flack is having a rough time. We know his name's Adder. We're not going to see him in this mission in a combat perspective, but he said he just came to have a look and see what was going on with Orange Star. He's meant to be apparently invading Yellow Comet. We'll have to choose, actually. Are we going to deal with Yellow Comet before or after Blue Moon? You actually get an option. We'll talk about that more after this mission. Anyway, apparently we look restless and ready to go. You better believe it. And then Adder just gently mocks Flack, saying he can't afford to lose. And that he's going to watch with bated breath. So, the mission is going to be about destroying a pipe seal. This is not a map for Sammy. We're going to use Max, and I'm going to show you why. Hopefully this goes fairly smoothly, because he, if used properly, makes this mission a joke. So mission 8, Liberation. And we're going to skip all this text, because I'd rather explain it myself. Okay, so this map, we have a pretty bog standard starting location, no pre-deployed units. He has one base. The base is not particularly scary. It's going to be pumping out infantry pretty much every turn for the first half dozen turns. Pretty standard AI fare. This guy, on the other hand, will pump out units. There is a pattern. The pattern depends on the map you're playing in terms of what it conjures up, but it doesn't cost him any money whatsoever to have units deployed here. And they can move the same turn they're deployed as well, so that's super dangerous. You can't do anything directly to this factory, other than maybe if you wanted to plonk some units up front by the doors here. If you do that, you technically can't spawn anything from there, which might be helpful for a future mission, but not this one. Instead, to defeat these missions, you have to break the pipe seam. It has 99 health, a bit like those cannons had in the mission that we also cheesed using Andy to fly straight over to a base. We can't quite do that here, but this airport's going to be super important. So let's get rolling. We have 6,000 to start with. I'm just going to get an APC and an infantry and then turn. And then he should show us on the first turn, yep, a mech spawned out of his factory there and he didn't have to pay for it. And Sammy's very confused by this. Effectively, it's just, this pipe has sucked up all the resources from the nation that we're in, so Orange Star, and the factory here is using it to create units. That's the gist. So we're just going to do that, plop that unit down, and really all we have to do is just kind of be a little bit distracting over here, and that's all we're going to try and do. So I'm going to get out a second APC, a second infantry, and then turn. The AI will almost always go for vacant. I don't need you to explain it, please, Nell. I've already done that. Thank you, dear. The AI almost always prioritizes buildings that aren't its in proximity to it, so that's why we don't have to worry so much. We're going to start capturing that immediately. We're just going to run up here, really just to distract them more than anything else. We're going to get another infantry, put the APC there. And going up there and attacking them with recons actually is not a very good idea, because the factory's going to start spawning things that will ruin your day if you do that. So we're actually just going to build nothing. And we're going to wait. And they have just worked out that we worked out what their weakness is. Thank you. Yeah, there's a recon. So just going out there with recons of your own and distracting them, not really the plan here. Although I'm pretty sure, yeah, because there's a forest in front of that bridge, the recon actually is pretty slow off the get-go. So we're still going to distract them with infantry units. Actually, I'm going to put that there in case I change my mind, depending on what he does with that recon. Anyway, we have the airport, so at this point that's pretty much all we need. As kind of funny as it is, what's our income? I haven't showed this screen yet, but you can actually check what your income is from a screen within the turn, which is nice. So the important thing for us is that we need to get to 22,000 funds. But we don't have to time trial this, so I am going to build a tank. Because although I don't really care about the score, you can beat this incredibly quickly, but if you don't take out any of his units, your score will be horrendous. And although that's not a huge priority for me, I'd like to not intentionally get a terrible score when I know I can avoid it. So we will at least do that for now. I'm going to send this infantry over there just to try and capture some stuff. Same with this guy. Send this tank up front. We are just going to capture that so we can get a bit more money. And the AI likes to do this. Until it's comfortable to actually attack you, it will cluster a load of units up beforehand, which is just a bit weird. But what we are going to do, which will slow them down, I have to be careful, because if he puts a tank here, our day will be a little bit ruined. I'm just going to shield those guys, because I don't want to be interrupted. And you could totally get a battlecopter here and start wailing on this pipe, but I'm not going to yet. Yes, we're not going to be using probably any battlecopters in this mission. There's a missile, that's something you do genuinely want to be worried about. Because you'll notice now, I can't actually do anything with this. But that is why we have this tank. We're going to go over there with the tank, take out the missile, and then we'll be absolutely fine. Whereas this mech's probably going to go and capture this property because it will get distracted. Capture that. We now have that. I wonder if I can get him to be stupid. More so than normal. I'm just going to see if that'll slow him down a bit. End turn. Yeah, he's got an anti-air, that's not worrying. Okay, perfect. So he is going to be dumb, hopefully. If he doesn't move his artillery any closer than it already is, we can somewhat log jam him. We might lose this APC. Yep, we did. Okay, it's fine. We're not going to hold him out for another turn. I guess the infantry could have made it across anyway, but they're so determined to attack that APC that can't do diddly. That works for me. Okay, that's fine. All this, totally fine. I'll run that up there. We are going to send an infantry up there with it just to count as distraction. Capture that, capture that. This was incredibly stupid, by the way, because now we don't even have to use that tank to take it out. We can just do that. And just for sake of something, I'm going to put that there. Put that there. They won't have enough damage to take that out. That's absolutely fine. The tank can't reach. The way the power score is calculated, it is beneficial to try and take out multiple units in one turn. I'm not sure if we're going to really be able to pull that off, but we'll see. There's another tank. It's going to interrupt my capture, which is absolutely fine. We don't really need money at this point. I was just hoping his units would line up in a certain way where I can just get a couple of free kills and get a reasonable power score. But it doesn't appear we're going to get quite that lucky, so we might waste a turn blowing up a load of units and then take out the pipe the following turn. Because the nice thing about using Max, because Max's direct combat units are stronger, he has enough power to one-shot the pipe. Nobody else does. So we're just going to do this. We're going to attack with a tank, put that on 1 health. This missile will probably run away unless I kill it, so I'm just going to do so. And then I should be able to... The only danger we're doing this is that if he sets up an anti-air, we go 1, 2, 3, 4 days kind of ruined, as the case may be. But we might just do it anyway for, you know, for the fun of it. I don't really want to leave that, but we're definitely going to. Because that'll be nice and easy to kill next turn. That. We're just going to keep capturing it. We're still going to leave that APC there. They can't really do anything against it whatsoever. Here's a Neo tank, by the way. We're not going to build one in this mission, but I did mention that I was probably going to talk about it a little bit. It's really expensive. It moves a bit faster than a medium tank. It hits slightly harder than a medium tank, but not by a lot. It doesn't have much more defense either. It has 99 fuel capacity, which is nice for the longer missions, but it's not as good as you would think it would be for the cost, I guess is the way I would phrase it. We will build another tank there. I know on this mission, the only problem is, because this is not a road, the recon actually would be really, really slow. So I'm just going to put an infantry there just to say that we did. And I'm going to put that infantry there because it will probably distract him if he even releases an anti-air. So we're going to take that out. That's a one-shot. That's fine. We're going to take this out. Always nice when your infantry can take out an indirect. It feels good. This might be enough to make the power score not absolutely garbage already. We'll end turn. He did not produce an anti-air. I know there is a pattern to it. I don't have any of these patterns memorized. I'm not really an anorak like that. But there is a pattern. This mech will probably see you later. Yeah, no saving that once the anti-air gets involved. And that infantry will probably go the way of the dodo as well, which is also completely fine. It is probably a bit callous of me that we're intentionally having a couple of units killed. Because I wanted to get a slightly better power score. I might have inadvertently reduced my technique score, which would be funny. But we will see. Okay, but no, we can definitely take out a couple of units this turn as well, just to kind of pad our score a bit. 100%. Lovely. You love when you see a nice round perfect kill number. Shame it's only got 1 hit point, so it's irrelevant, but what can you do? So it's dead. I'm sure between the infantry and the tank here we can take out this mech. Again, we're just doing this as a precaution for score. And just because it's fun. More than anything, it's just fun. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, remember, Max's infantry do not get boosted for attack. And in this game, if you use a CO power, it just increases your defense by 10% if you have an ability that doesn't boost a stat. Now, just to show you, 114%. Just because we can, let's use his power. So you can use Max Force. You can hear the slightly different music for about 20 seconds. We're going to build... I don't know if this actually matters or not, but we are going to just build a couple of units just to say that we did. Maybe that'll help with our score. 133%. There we go. And we win. We did it. No more units coming from this factory, although, to be fair, not that many of them came out in the first place. And he says, my invasion of Orange Star may have failed, but I'm not alone. But we already kind of knew that from just before the mission. Oh well. And he's gone, because again, in this game, no CO can ever capture another CO, for some reason. And we've got to contact the other nations, apparently. But apparently, according to Nell, we're not going to be all that helpful, because our units took so much damage. We might have lost, what, half a dozen units out of all the missions added together? But apparently that's enough to drain all of our resources. And we did indeed knock the stuffing out of them, and will hopefully continue to do so. Is our score going to be pants? It was still an S rank, yeah, losing 3 units in 1 turn. I think the technique score is based on a percentage of the units you field that you lose. So that's why I plugged the infantry at the end. It's pretty easy to get a perfect 300 on that, I just didn't. Not that it really matters. Alright, so that was 9 days. You can definitely do it 2, maybe even 3 days faster than that. So we're being introduced to Blue Boon. Is looking for Grit. Grit's one of my favourite characters in terms of a personality standpoint in this game, albeit most characters in this game are pretty much known for one character trait, like Andy's stupid, Max is hot-headed, Sammy is just a generic girl for the first mission, really, for the first few missions, honestly. That's Olaf, who's just grumbly and gruff, and he's telling us that black holes have launched an attack there. Grit's kind of a laid-back, chill person. Yeah, I'd like to think you'd remembered his name. Their name's Grit. You had to deal with it in Advance Wars 1 that we haven't played on this channel yet. Maybe we'll do that in the future. But yeah, they get on like, you know, chalk and cheese. And then we have Colin, who, despite his childish demeanor, his childish expression and overly formal demeanor, I guess I should say, he's actually pretty fun to use. I think in Blue Moon, he's usually the first mission I go for. You have to play as Colin. We will deal with that afterwards. And he's just saying, you know, he's new. There we are. And you get 3 missions to pick from there. And then there's Yellow Comet, which is very clearly not Japan in disguise, guys. And he can't find his other side. There were memes about this. Highly memeable faction. But yes, they are, surprise, surprise, also being attacked by Black Hole. Who would have seen that coming, right? And then, yes, this is how you tell it's a ROM, guys. I do own the original of this, but do you want webcam quality in 2021? Probably not. The joy. It's all good. Anyway, this is an old ROM. I've had this ROM for probably the thick end of a decade now, maybe a bit older than that, a bit longer than that, honestly. And then they're introducing Sensei, who just a very, very old man who... I like his personality in this game. I do not like what they did to him in Dual Strike, where they just turned him into an incredibly senile old man. Anyway, we'll talk about those guys more next episode, because I actually think we'll do Yellow Comet before Blue Moon. There's a very practical reason for doing that, which we will probably cover in about a dozen episodes' time. Maybe a few more. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, that's all we've got for this episode. If you enjoyed the video, happily give it a like. If you want to subscribe to see more, be my guest. You want to leave a comment saying if you liked it, or even if you didn't like it. Let me know. Feedback's awesome. Appreciate it. You take care. Thank you for watching the video.